My name is Lucy. I'm 47 as I write this, but my story starts at age 39 when I committed the act that destroyed my marriage. For 20 years, I was married to David, my high school sweetheart. We had four children together, two sons, Ethan, now 18, and Jacob, 16, and twin daughters, Maya and Chloe, 13. David was a good man. He was never the type to spoil me like a princess, but he treated me as a genuine partner, forever telling me I was beautiful and always wanting to be close to me. He was quick to help anyone in need, and my own family loved him, especially my brother, who once said David was like the big brother he never had. In that comfortable, stable marriage, I grew complacent. I gained weight over the years, feeling less confident, though David consistently assured me I was still gorgeous. Our arguments weren't common, but the main source of tension was the difference in our intimacy needs. By my late 30s, I wasn't interested in closeness as often, but David still craved it, telling me he loved me no matter how we looked or felt. I was too restless to appreciate it. A few months before my 39th birthday, I joined a gym and did yoga and Pilates, slimming down from 180 pounds to about 135. David, who joined me initially, lost some weight as well, going from 260 to 225. Despite that, I wasn't responding to his renewed affection. It was like a switch had flipped in me, and I started to feel stifled by our routine. I can't blame him. Looking back, it was more my own boredom, my own selfish desire for something new. That's when my new manager, Zach, joined our office. He was younger, confident, and persistent. For 2 months, he flirted with me, and at first, I showed him my wedding ring, ignoring his advances. But over time, something about the novelty and attention I got from him intrigued me. I found myself daydreaming, anticipating small chats with him at work. It was an emotional affair before it became a physical one. David sensed something was off. I was distant, sometimes irritable, and even turned away when he leaned in to kiss me. Our big argument started over something trivial, maybe him forgetting to load the dishwasher. But the real issue was that I was thinking about Zach. My disgusted look at David mid-argument convinced him I no longer loved him. He told me years later he felt like he lost me. Then came the day I told Zach to meet me at a cafe, intending to end our flirtation. I tried to be firm, but he'd unexpectedly kissed me right there. My heart raced and I caved. That was the beginning of a 6-month affair. I'd do all the things with Zach that David had always wanted from me, be more adventurous, more attentive, and ironically, I was less and less available to David. Worse, I started being cruel, belittling him for small habits, rolling my eyes when he attempted romance. My brother noticed, and after David confided in him, my brother confronted me, outraged that I was hurting such a good man. Reality slapped me in the face. David was thinking about separation, feeling unloved, and it wasn't just a hunch. I panicked. That same night, I resolved to end the affair, to quit my job and fix my marriage. Zach tried calling, but I wouldn't answer. Then one afternoon, he appeared at my house with a box of some personal items from my office. I told him plainly I needed to save my marriage. He begged for one last moment together. A final goodbye, he called it. Foolishly, I agreed. That's when my life blew up. I led him to our guest room, thinking one last time, but in the middle of our encounter, we heard a loud bang. David had come home early to surprise me with lunch and a plan for a romantic weekend. The door flew open. Zach jumped, fell off the bed. The wall was dented, and I saw David's face twisted in heartbreak and fury, tears in his eyes. He lunged at Zach, who hissed at David to back off. David snapped, launching a fierce attack. I screamed and grabbed David's shoulder, but he shook me off so hard I fell to the floor. All the while, David was pummeling Zach, who ended up with severe facial injuries. Eventually, David, sobbing, snatched his phone, called emergency services, and followed their instructions to the letter, placing the phone on speaker, dropping to his knees, hands on his head. The paramedics and police arrived, found me in tears, Zach unconscious on the floor, and David near the door, quietly surrendering. My father glared at me with disgust. My brother shouted at me. David's sisters cursed me, and my children refused to even look at me. Zach's injuries required major reconstructive surgery. He turned out to be married, something I never knew. His wife confronted me at the hospital, furious, screaming that I destroyed 2 families. David was arrested, eventually convicted of a 3rd-degree felony assault, and got 7 years. In the trial, I had to detail the entire affair. My father walked out in shame, David wept, and the kids were traumatized hearing about their mother's betrayal. David's special services phone call was played, featuring his anguished sobs. The judge saw the violence as beyond self-defense. When Zach turned up with a battered face, there was no doubt about the extent of David's assault. My sons, Ethan and Jacob, wouldn't speak to me. They went to live with David's parents. My twin daughters were likewise crushed, ignoring me or giving me hateful glares. My father and brother refused contact for a long time, and my mother tried consoling me, but it caused arguments at home. I lost my job, was blacklisted in my industry, and struggled to keep the mortgage. I sank into depression, overcame thoughts of disappearing only by clinging to the slim hope I could someday fix things. But David wouldn't read my letters, and his facility wouldn't let me visit him. Then I learned he got stabbed in prison, which triggered my guilt even further. Years went by. My kids occasionally came home. They were silent around me. Then they started to open up. But only because David was released early and living with my brother. Realizing they'd been with him happily made me see how little it had to do with me. I tried to approach David at my brother's house, desperate to apologize face to face. He took my stack of letters and shoved them back in my hands. "You forgot something," he said coldly, then walked back inside. I learned that the ex-wife of Zach, my affair partner, had apparently visited David in prison 2 years prior, but I'm not sure why. In any case, David evidently wants nothing to do with me. My mother told me to keep hoping, but I've realized he may never forgive me. Even if he did, it wouldn't undo the heartbreak. So I exist now in a fractured reality, my ex-husband free but gone from me. My children mostly side with him. My father and brother barely talk to me, and I blame only myself. Part I. The children's response, one of the sons. I'm Ethan. I'm 18 now, a college freshman, and I resent my mother for posting her side of the story so publicly. Let me clarify what happened from my vantage point. Growing up, I saw my parents, Lucy and David, as a loving pair. Dad was from a tough background in the Bronx, overcame hardships, and always told me the importance of respect and humility. He never treated Mom like a princess. He treated her as his best friend, his partner in everything. They used to be affectionate, holding hands, exchanging small gifts, even as a big guy, 5'11" and around 260 lbs. Dad was a teddy bear with a wide smile. He joked with us, sang silly songs in the car, gave my sisters piggyback rides. But a few years ago, I noticed Mom belittling Dad, complaining about nonsense. Dad tried over and over to fix things, plan dates, cook, or help with chores, but she withdrew. None of us guessed she was secretly seeing someone else snack. Until the day Dad was arrested for assault. The news exploded at our school. Dad walked in on Mom cheating, broke the man's face, and ended up in prison. We kids were humiliated, furious at her, and stunned that Dad faced years behind bars for an instant of rage. Mom's repeated attempts to get us to forgive her rang hollow. She wanted us to comfort her guilt. But what about our father rotting in a cell? My younger siblings, especially my twin sisters, cried themselves to sleep. Our older brother sank into quiet anger. We visited Dad in the county at first, but after sentencing, the environment turned more complicated. Dad insisted we not disrespect Mom, but how could we not resent her? She put Dad behind bars, ultimately. When Dad got stabbed in prison, that was a new low. I discovered the horrifying reality that he was physically harmed just because he'd snapped defending his pride in a moment of heartbreak. Meanwhile, Mom kept sending him letters. He never opened them. She tried to paint herself as a victim of her own impulses, but I just saw it as her refusing to own the damage she caused. Finally, Dad got early release. My siblings and I flocked to him at my uncle's place. He was changed, both physically and emotionally. He'd lost weight, had scars. The father I knew was still there, kind in spirit, but much more guarded. We were overjoyed to be with him again, and it had nothing to do with wanting to see Mom. She found out he was free and tried to appear at the house, presumably hoping for a grand apology scene. Dad basically told her to leave. He gave back all her letters. I saw her sob in the driveway, but none of us felt pity. We'd spent too long forging a bond with Dad while she drifted in her own circle of regret. Mom tries to act like we're all better now because we occasionally come to her house. She never realized we do it because Dad told us to respect your mother even if you don't love her choices. That's the kind of man he is, still telling us to show her courtesy. But it's complicated. The twins, Maya and Chloe, are about to turn 18 soon. They sometimes mention mom is pushing for them to do a joint birthday with her. They told her they're having a separate party with dad. She looked crushed. Well, that's a reflection of how she alienated us. From my vantage point, Dad has found some measure of peace. He's back working for an old client who recognized he was a good man who made a tragic, violent mistake. Meanwhile, Mom wants Dad to talk to her, maybe even hopes for reconciliation. But Dad told me plainly, I'm done with her. He sees her only as the mother of his kids, that's all. And if she's still writing about how she yearns for the old days, she needs to realize those days are gone. My siblings and I see her attempts at reuniting the family as self-serving. She broke everything. And that's the reality for me. Yes, I'm in college. I keep quiet about Dad's prison stint. I do love my mother at some level. She gave birth to me. Trusting or liking her after witnessing how she destroyed Dad's spirit is another matter. If she wants to talk to me, she can. I can't make her illusions come true. Dad's new normal is without her. We, the children, stand by him. Lucy's perspective. A woman who had a comfortable marriage but felt bored, fell into an affair, tried to end it, and inadvertently caused her husband to commit a brutal act in a moment of heartbreak. She lost nearly everything: her marriage, her children's respect, her extended family support, and now lives in remorse, longing for forgiveness. One of the children's perspective, Ethan, he sees his father, David, as a strong, caring figure who was pushed to the brink by Lucy's betrayal. The father paid a huge price with a prison sentence and injuries, while the mother's repeated attempts at redemption feel too little too late. For Ethan and his siblings, Dad's survival and new life matter most, while Lucy hovers on the fringe wishing for something that may never be restored. In the end, the heartbreak remains. Lucy begs for a chance to make amends. Yet David and the children keep their distance. They all navigate the aftermath of an affair that spiraled into violence and incarceration. The father, once a gentle giant, emerged from prison a changed man, uninterested in reconciling with the woman who broke his heart. The children stand with him, forging their own future. Lucy stands alone, burdened with guilt and haunted by the knowledge that her single lapse of judgment led to years of suffering for everyone she once claimed to love.